going back to the character sheet, I now am showing the ethereal character sheet for everyone. Tell me about what kind of backgrounds I should be thinking about and looking at. What is the difference between the corporeal and the ethereal for people who are just dying to know?
So I should say that I actually did an entire video on what ethereals are. So basically, an ethereal is a being from another dimension.
Okay.
They are only able to manifest in our world when, as I said, a crystal pierces the skin of a corporeal. And that is specifically a corporeal that is not already a possessed. Because if the corporeal is already a possessed and they gain a crystal, that just builds the power of the ethereal that already is there.
Okay.
So, some ethereals have barely ever been in our dimension. Some of them are very new, very young, and some of them are even quite old and have never been in our dimension. And the ethereal dimension is all they've ever. Some of them have been here every single cycle, and every cycle, I should explain, it's roughly every 50 years normally. The ethereals will appear. The balance of power changes. People suddenly are possessed, which means that they have massive amounts of power. Empires rise, empires fall. There's a big war that envelops the whole world. And then after that war, the ethereals just kind of vanish and no one really knows why.
So given that information, I have this image of this gremlin-esque little Furby kind of character.
Right, okay, so usually ethereals are roughly the same size as people, but there's no reason why they have to be. I mean, you can be any shape or size you want.
Well, I was picturing that I'm generally about this size, like the size of a stuffed animal, and maybe, as time goes on, maybe I'll manifest as bigger and smaller as different situations occur. But, because if I'm really, really big, I can look very intimidating and such like that. If I'm my little stuffed animal that I'm being, carried around or taken around kind of thing, it's, I don't look so much that way.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to size you as 5.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick your quirk in as variable size.
Okay.
Right? So, you'll just randomly vary your size depending on your mood.
Yeah, and that,
right?
Yeah. And I was figuring that from my history, I definitely want to be new-ish, like not brand new, but I'm young because I'm just a starting character. I'm young in my breach into this world. I was thinking that...
So, this is the first time you've been here?
Yes, it'd be the first time I'm here. I think that, to me, this world would be pretty wondrous in everything that I see.
So the ethereal dimension is much... Everyone is crowded in.
Right.
Okay. You want to get out. And if this is your first time out, then yeah, I mean, all you've ever seen is the next person's backside in your face, basically. Okay. If you've ever seen the Star Trek, the original series, The Mark of Gideon...
Yes, I have.
That's kind of what I imagine the ethereal plane is like.
Okay.
So it's just full, right? So the idea of being able to get out and manifest in our world is actually significant. And I feel like, based on what you're saying, maybe, you're the person that you're possessing, so maybe under the guidance of Gothin, went out and actually fought, and then ended up, either accidentally or deliberately finding a crystal and becoming a possessed, and you're like a brand new possessed who kind of came through this crystal, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, that's a thing, and maybe it's just been a couple of months since you manifested for the first time in our dimension.
That sounds great.
Awesome.
So, as for faction, what would my faction be at that point?
I think your faction is non-aligned, neutral, independent, any of those. I think that you are factionless. You're just kind of... I guess you're loyal to the village, but you definitely don't intend to stay there forever, would be my assumption. You'll stay for a good long while. You aren't done yet, but... The idea of not exploring the world, I imagine, would be
very difficult for me. I find this place wondrous, and I want to check it out. Okay, cool.
But equally, you also know that you haven't found everything that's even in the village yet, let alone wider world.
Right. And so right now I'm willing to stick around because there's cool stuff here.
Right.
Okay. I picture the race that I come from probably is a long living race, and so maybe I'm 40 years old but still treated like a child kind of thing. The
ethereals are basically immortal,
right,
with the exception of I'll talk about compatibility when we move down to that area of the sheet, but with the exception of a really nasty circumstance, ethereals are basically immortal.
And given that, I basically have been living in a very sheltered existence with, being crammed in, not having much room and such, and not having explored much, I'm gonna go with that. I'm 100 years old, but having that naivete of, oh my gosh, this.
Oh my god, it's new! There's
Yep.
actually something different in the universe other than what I experienced.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that 100%.
Okay.
In terms of a hobby, what do you think you would have accumulated over 100 years? I'm wondering about word games.
Yeah, I can do word games.
It's something you can do when you're jammed up against everyone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind scrolling down, I'm just going to talk you through compatibility,
Okay.
which is actually quite an important factor. You begin with 4, so 4 of those boxes will be filled in.
Okay. Does it matter which direction I'm putting it in, or just
really.
left or right? Okay.
Not really.
Do I get 4 compatibility because it's on my sheet as well?
You will get 4 compatibility as well, yes. So, compatibility is based on ethereals and corporeals working together. And if you drop to 0 compatibility, you've basically pulled apart.
Okay.
When you get to 0, you'll snap back together. And that is so forceful that the two of you actually merge. The ethereal will become mortal, the corporeal will mutate, and both of you will go horrendously insane. You are no longer a playable character at that point. In fact, what happens is that's where the monsters that are in this world come from.
Oh, okay.
So on the spells to the right of it, you can cross out black and blue for the time being.
Right.
Because you're going to be a white mage.
Mm-hmm.
And while you have 10 crystals as a starting character, you are also able to spend your crystals to earn the tick boxes below. So you get 1 spell slot free. Anything after that, you have to spend crystals to have the spell slots.
Okay. These are separate from the things I'm taking in my tree, correct?
No, they are part of what you're taking.
Okay, cool. So the cure
So you've
spell.
got to balance.
So the cure
right?
spell that I'm buying from the tree right now would be. Oh, okay, that's gonna be a problem. So I only have 1 spell slot accessible.
You have 1 automatic spell slot that you have. You can also switch stuff in and out, so you don't have to buy more spell slots if you don't want to, but you can only switch out of.
Okay, how do I buy more spell slots?
You spend a crystal instead of spending it in a tree, and that can be the social tree or the white magic tree.
Okay, so now that I know that I have 1 spell, we're gonna see how this tree works because let's go and show everyone the white mage skill tree, which I was playing around with.
Well, but I mean, like, you can get more spells through the tree, right? Or is haste and confuse not considered spells?
Oh no, they're all spells.
Okay.
And shield is as well. To start with, as a white mage, white magic, you get 2 power,
Yep.
3 intelligence, 2 stamina, 3 willpower, 2 luck.
Okay, so starting from the bottom up. So okay.
And then on the right-hand side in the skills, you'll add 1 boost, 1 health, 1 investigation, handy.
Mm-hmm.
All in the top row.
Yep, I see that.
Starting
Starting from the bottom up, filling it like a vial. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
1 stealth, 1 time.
And I wanted to ask you what time means exactly.
Time magic is haste, slow, that kind of thing.
Okay, cool. So.
And then dropping straight down, manifest and below stealth and time.
For my 10 points that I'm looking at spending, and let me go and show everyone the tree. I am looking at starting with the right tree, as people can watch on the video. I'm going to go 1 into haste. My second point will be into dexterity. My third point will go down into manifest. I will spend 2 more points to go into slow. Actually, I only need 1 point to go into slow.
That's 1 point to go into slow, yeah.
So, 1 point to go into slow. I read
That's
that
4
wrong when
so
I was
far.
planning. Yes, 4 so far. And then I will go 1 into investigation. That's 5.
Mhm. Manifest mass haste.
Yes, manifest mass haste.
So what does manifest do? When do you roll manifest?
Yeah.
So manifest is your summon attack, right? So what you'll do with manifest mass haste, which you've already taken, what will happen is you will go, I'm going to manifest now, and you literally just, you grow massive, you cast your haste on all of your friends, and then you fall unconscious. And as an ethereal, you've got to wait for natural healing to actually bring you back into consciousness.
Okay. But do I get to roll my time on manifest mass haste because it's a time spell?
It is a time spell, and you will roll manifest, but not time, because it is a manifest.
But if it was just the first haste, she rolls time with that?
Correct.
Okay. I will go down and buy manifest, and that brings me up to 8. And then I'm going to spend 1 on the left tree buying cure.
Cure.
And I'm going to buy 1 in the bottom tree for shield. I don't suppose I can spend any of my build point crystals in getting an extra spell slot, because if so...
By which you mean the social ones, yes, you can.
Okay. And is it going to be a 1-for-1?
It is 1-for-1.
Oh, fantastic. Then I know how I'm going to spend that. So at that point, my last point on 10 would be going back to the beginning of the left tree and going up top to get the +1 time. Sorry, +1 time that we were talking about. Yes.
Time. Gotcha.
Okay.
You've only got the 1 spell slot, so you can choose which one you want that to be, and it can switch out. It doesn't matter.
I noticed that on the white mage tree that you don't jump from one branch to another like you do on my shotgun tree.
That's correct. You don't.
Is shotgun somewhat unique in that, or is it
No,
like some trees have it, other
every
trees
tree
don't?
is different, right? So the blue magic tree looks very different to the white mage tree. In the case of white magic, I felt like a jump wasn't appropriate. So you were asking earlier about how come ethereals seem to get the short end of the stick when it comes to crystals.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you might note on the right-hand side that there is a pain bar, and on the corporeal there is health and pain.
Cool.
Right?
Yep. So I don't die.
So you can't die. Secondly, you can't be hurt by most weapons. So what we were talking about the gun mage casting, having fire cast on the weapon and then firing it, that would hurt you. But if the gun were to just fire at you, that wouldn't. It would just pass through you.
Okay.
So you are by nature very tough. There's no limit to the number of spells you can cast. I mean, 1 per turn maybe, but there's no limit to the number of spells you can cast. So inherently you are more powerful.
Okay.
Now there's one thing that I haven't done with you guys yet, and that is the derived stats. So you'll notice on the left-hand side, there are a whole bunch of arrows leading to things.
Yep.
Yes.
On both sheets. So it's very simple. Speed is dexterity plus strength or power plus size. You are all size 5, by the way. Broadly, you add the arrows. Initiative in the middle right is wits plus willpower.
Mm-hmm.
Now, defense down the bottom is the lower of wits and dexterity.
Okay.
You'll notice the arrows are a slightly different pattern. You don't just join the 2 arrows, they join together. It's the lower of the 2. Notoriety is based on your backstory. So Thranik, your notoriety is going to be 0. Thranik, your damage and kill are 0. You don't get to have armor.
Okay.
So damage and kill are modifiers to when someone tries to injure you. One more thing that I've not done yet, which is the health and the pain.
Yes, please.
So in the corporeal case, you'll notice that there's 1 set of dots down the middle. So that is your stamina plus your size. In the ethereal case, there is obvious dots. What you'll do is you'll cross off the boxes as you take damage.
Okay, great. I'm
Now,
7.
what I will not do is, based on your size changing, I will probably not change the amount of health you have. So if you're at like 6 damage and you reduce size because you calm down, you aren't going to fall unconscious.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
I think that's just unfair, and this is one of the things about the Era D10 rule set. I've kind of gone off the books. This quirk that I've just invented for you doesn't exist. My expectation is that if a GM does that, they're going to account for.